The next one is a big one. We are still on Erickson's psychosocial theory on human development, and we are looking at what does trauma have to do with our childhood and where can we trace it back to. And from our previous learnings, we realized that a child, even at the age of 1 year, can tell when they are not being responded to adequately, and that kind of like creates something in their brain, in their social response. At that age, how a child would be responding socially is, do they let you pick them up? Do they stop crying when you pick them up? And those are attachment challenges that we will explore in another video after we are probably done with this segment. So this video is about the adolescent stage, and I'm going to take my time on this one because many individuals, both men and women, do go through this gate, all right, of transition. And if you experience poisoned waters, like I said in another video, then you realize that you might not come out on the other side as you might have been required to if nothing happened to you. And also that at this stage the child is already very self-aware, and sometimes people say, oh, my partner behaves like a kid, or you as a mom might feel like, I never stopped this since I was around the age of 17. This has never stopped for me. And some of the sad things about this stage is that it's very definitive, because you're leaving the adult part of being a teenager into the younger part of being an adult. Get that? So at this stage, Erickson argues that the main issues here are identity versus role confusion. So there's you, the person, and the role that you should be performing. And the question is, are you able to achieve the identity success, or did you get stuck in role confusion? And there are so many different things that could cause you any little, not really little, but trauma is trauma, and we don't like to magnify or belittle it, but we can say that should you have gone through a trauma experience at this age, it might explain why you feel confused about your role in different matters. And so you might be exhibiting the following things or the following indicators in your relationships or personal life journey: a sense of isolation. As a mom, might you be feeling constantly that you have acute anxiety when you're exposed to a challenging event? Do you feel anxious and you don't know what to do, and you feel you're at risk, a sense of emptiness and sometimes depression? I remember for me personally, when I was maneuvering through my own identity crisis, and how I had experienced role confusion manifested in that I was always experiencing prejudiced tendencies. And what this would look like is that I was very suspicious of people who genuinely loved me, people who genuinely trusted me, people who genuinely wanted to include me and become a part of my life. I found myself very prejudiced in so many areas, and that also affected in a way my younger adult life, because I had not made any meaningful, trustworthy engagements or relationships. So you might also find this one, which is held very secretively if you're a mom, maybe regarding your spouse or a child who you have been raising and is yours, or maybe adopted, and you realize that every time they go through a challenging experience, they regress to maybe bedwetting, and they don't have a desire to relate, they just withdraw. And sometimes what that would look like for us, so imagine if you are the mom and you isolate yourself from your family, you isolate yourself from your children, you isolate yourself from that infant because you're trying to cope with something. You isolate yourself from that adolescent who needs you. You isolate yourself from that spouse. I think this is the year, this is the month, this is the time to be able to locate that trauma trigger and just call it out and address it. And imagine as a mom, if you're always exuding anxiety, when exposed to challenging situations. I like to refer to myself because, like I say, I have the rights to my story. And during that time when I was going through that traumatic experience, first of all, I was experiencing trauma bonding issues, and I felt like I needed to stay connected so that I could thrive. And only then did I realize that my anxiety was very, very heightened when I began to experience my fasts, my individual fasts after that relationship. And I was like, oh my God, will I know what to do? Will I know how to respond? Will I know how to make a purchase? Will I know how to get the shopping right? Will I know how to decorate well? And what this turned out for me after therapy is that there were parts of me that had learned to be hidden, that they had accepted the oppression. So as a mom, it's time for you to just sit quietly with yourself and first of all understand that this cannot be fixed in a day. Imagine how old you are and how long you've lived with this situation, just either hidden or always knowing at the back of your mind, or always seeming like a shadow that's haunting you everywhere you go. And that feeling of emptiness and sometimes depression. As a mom, you find yourself always wanting more of something, whether it's love, food, a lifestyle. You want more of it because you feel like the more you get of it, the more you're defined. And it's very, very important that you understand your identity. We're gonna go through a period after this about who then is our true identity as moms, and what should be our backbone, where should we be leaning on, so that we understand that, okay, great, I've begun dealing with this trauma issue, but I need to have a reference point. And I think that will be very, very helpful. So imagine if you're like me, who has lived maybe a quarter of my life with prejudice tendencies, because I was trying to just justify why I'm not a good fit for people, why I'm not qualified, why I'm not involved, why I'm not loved. And it's because I was looking for that mothering that maybe I missed, or I went through an experience with someone who was in that position of caregiving for me. And so as a mom, it's good to know that, oh my goodness, the worst thing I could do, first of all, is to be prejudiced against myself. If there's anyone I should be cheering on, it's me. Whether I am experiencing fault, whether I am experiencing brokenness, I should never, ever not celebrate myself. See those as learning experiences. Be able to assign meaning to that trauma, and I'm sure that you will be able to elevate yourself. All right, I hope this resonates with you. We'll catch up in the next section, which is early adulthood. I look forward to sharing that with you. Thank you.